A few things have briefly occurred to me. First, some people might groan about another Esee review in a few weeks, but screw those guys. Also, it occurs to me that the raw male form, specifically the campsite variety, ones like myself who are dads who don't get enough sun and have thin chicken legs, might make some of my viewers uncomfortable. And I might say to them, "You're lucky I'm wearing a shirt. My wife and child were not spared the same consideration at the campsite." Another thing you might ask is batoning safe when wearing extremely short swimming trunks or shorts? Not that they're not fashionable. Yes, the answer is yes, very, as long as you protect your feet with thin tennis shoes. Sandals may work too if, depending on how many beers you've had. The formula goes, the more beers, the more confidence, and confidence is all you need when playing with knives, not motor skills. Anyway, my last review finally won Esee over, and I asked for like the 10th time, "Hey, you got any knives laying around I could review? I'm poor." And they said yes, as long as I promised to give it a full 50% and not a drop less when doing my YouTube video art review bushcraft style thing of it. Done! I'm now the proud owner of a laser strike that I will mercilessly pummel like I have no idea on earth what I'm doing. And that's not even because I'm drunk, I'm just an idiot. But before we give this thing even 25%, let's look at the overall length and weight. With and without the sheath. I did have to buy a belt clip for this because it was clipless when it came to me. That was like $12. It's half plastic from the knife connection. Let's also look at the blade naked, taking off the handle scales and the fire starting things inside the goodies, the fire starting goodies. Naked weight is always, appropriate. Blade size and cutting edge. In the review, I did use a SEMA belt clip because my replacement clip hadn't arrived yet. But keep that on the DL if you know what I mean, OG subscribers. Handle size, grip area. Look, a key-in. You're like, "What's a key-in? I'm here for the legs." That was my Ron Burgundy voice. Spine thickness, handle thickness. I should have warned people not to stare directly into the whites of my legs. I should have said that at the top of the video. So, too late, I guess. Tallnesses. The Esee Laser Strike, not to be confused with the Tops Missile Strike. Both extremely tactical sounding, though, guys. Is a slightly big-ass general purpose or YouTube purpose survival knife with a 4.5-inch-ish blade made from Esee's favorite 1095 carbon steel. And I like that they like it. I mean, I like it too. The blade has a textured black powder coat covering it, unless you baton it off, like this channel tends to do. So it inhibits rust while it's on there, because carbon steel rusts easy. 1095 is a rust-prone steel if you don't care for it and dry it properly after your jungle or campsite adventure. The blade has a flat grind, and let's say it's a spear point blade shape. It looks like the older versions of the Laser Strike have a skull on the blade, which is definitely cool. Cooler than the current logo without a single skeleton bone anywhere. No word from Esee, though, if the old logo adds any point multipliers to one-handed, although I'm pretty sure it does. -1 to intelligence, though. Oh, and up there's some widely spaced jimping for thumb traction. Which brings me to the handle. It's got that tan micarta scales over the full tang, blade, like a lot of Esee knives, which gives a good amount of traction. The micarta is generally hotspot free and holds up well to batoning. There's a choil up front, which I said I really didn't mind. You're like, "Why, because Esee told you to say that, you shill? I remember you said you didn't like choils on the Caribbean review, or Caribbean review, whatever it's called." Well, a lot of Spyderco choils are kind of shallow and uncomfortable. Not unlike staring at a grown man in swimming trunks on YouTube for over 10 minutes. I don't feel as safe using those as much because it feels like my hand could slip. The choil here is larger than the actual finger groove on the handle. It's nice and smooth and rounded, comfortable, and the ricasso extends past the blade edge a bit. It feels more secure and less half-assed than a Spyderco shallow folding knife choil. I wound up using the choil a bit for better blade control when not batoning. The rest of the handle has a decent-sized grip area, so you move your hand back when doing your social media batoning. The handle also has a hidden feature, surprise ferro rod. You can remove it using the washer on the sheath if you'd like to add extra time to your fire starting record, which is about 20 minutes. Or just, use your drill you brought along. You know what? Actually, on second thought, You also brought a lighter along so you can just skip the ferro rod and fire starting fiber that are hidden inside the handle. They look like uncovered cigarette butts. That's the technical term. I would have liked a 90-degree angle on the spine for ferro rodding, like the Esee PR4 that I reviewed a while back. You might also notice the bow divot on the side of the handle and are reminded that fire starting can be slower and more time consuming than even a ferro rod. Don't worry, just like everyone else who reviewed this knife on YouTube, from the comfort of their kitchen table, their backyard, in their car, I won't bore you with doing the bow divot fire starting either, because I can never make it through one of the tutorial videos. The sheath normally comes with a clip. My review sample didn't, but I ain't even mad. It's Kydex, and like other Esee gear, you can probably buy other shit to mount it to your shit better. From the dangly sheaths to just out the shorts like mine. It's a little too high a rider on the belt for my taste because it digs into my beer handles, but I found I like to clip Esees to my pocket anyway. It also comes with the standard paracord clip thingy silver washer that allows you to unscrew the handle, accessorize it with some skull beads, and start a fire should you encounter a survival situation during your backyard vlog. At least the washer helps you unscrew the handle if you didn't bring your drill. Comparisons. I know we're there already. First, the laser strike, not the missile strike. I like this knife. It's the larger than 3-inch edge I prefer for my pretend bushcraft outings. It works well for batoning, however, I'd need to try the Esee 5 or 6 just to be sure. Don't worry, I'm sure those reviews will come eventually. Years late like everything else on the channel. I mean, I had the 6HM, but I didn't like the lack of ricasso, but you know that now. I would say the edge geometry doesn't work the best on the laser strike for thin, slicey stuff. It works well enough for cutting my steak, but if you're wanting to skin a tomato for your outdoor cooking YouTube channel, you'd want a thinner blade stock. I got about 1 millimeter behind the edge before a round on my sharp maker. Also, when you sharpen blades with powder coats, note that the removal of the powder coat, as you sharpen the edge, can add additional sharpening time. However, it only took about 10 minutes to get the laser strike sharper on my sharp maker than it came to me, and then I was able to shave arm hair with it. The standard YouTube test. The Esee 3 MIL, smaller, thinner behind the edge by just a little bit, makes sense if you want to travel lighter because it's only a few ounces less heavy. I prefer the size of the laser though, and I'm sure you know that by now. Now the Esee PR4, I like the knife a little better than the, in the weight department than the laser strike. It has a slightly thinner blade stocks, and you can still dabble in batoning with it though, because that's what I did with it. It has a 90-degree uncoated spine, which keeps you from having to use the choil area up front depending on how often you flick your rod. A few subscribers said there wasn't enough of those jokes in the last video, so I'm trying to make up for it. I like the handle size and the grip better on the laser strike. Let's see the Van de Gaulle Rover. It's nice and has a good sized blade, and it's lighter. The handle, I'd like a little bit bigger finger grooves. The laser strike is beefier and may figure into your batoning lifestyle a bit better because it's kind of like a pry bar. How about something super light? It's not full tang, and I haven't showed it in a while. You guessed right, the Mora Cans ball. This knife is a great food prep knife, not so much at the bush arts. It has a very thin blade stock and can be sharpened easily, also bent easily if you baton with it. The handle is rubber and plastic in grain. As shrill as I am about light knives, I never seem to use my Moras. I wonder what that's about. Okay, is that it on the comparisons? Let's see a show of hands who wants to move on. All right. Oh, some guy in the back there. I haven't seen the Moscas Tanto in a while. You know what, bro? Here you go. I'll bet that's the kind of guy who also watches my beer videos and likes them, even if they do have gratuitous shots of the old moneymaker in them. My face. There's some rust on the blade because apparently last time I threw it in the yard on the ground. I put it back in its leather sheath before drying it completely. Knife foul. Alright, let's partake in a few of the bush arts or camp arts or whatever footage I have left over. I think unless my math is off, I've given this about 35 to 40%. If I were a lazier YouTuber, I'd call it done. But more importantly, we haven't hit the 10-minute mark yet, and we all know that makes better YouTube videos. Let's see. I think I have 5 Esees now, and I like them. I don't know why I have more of these than others, like Ontario's or Tops, like subscriber Zach Spark mused on my Cold Steel Code 4 video yesterday. But I do. I like their warranty, I like the handles and the sheath, the way you can mount them. if you know what I mean. If someone asks why this channel doesn't have more viewers and isn't more popular, that last sentence is probably why. The aesthetics and the overall hand feel the Esees have, I guess, just hit the right spot for me. I mean, I like other knives too. A cool subscriber is donating a Svord Bowie to the channel, so I'm looking forward to that. Sorry, I meant Bowie. Don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. Am I rambling? I seem like I'm rambling. I think you have enough information to decide if it's right for you. Esee makes several knives in the 4, 5, and 6 inch range for you, my preferred size for a fixed blade. It's honestly about going into the store or abusing an online return policy like Amazon's to find out the one that fits your hand. And think about the wood you want to baton and all the things you want to chop. If you, of course, forget your axe, or the elk you're going to gut if you ever learn how to shoot. Personally, I think the Esee Laser Strike is my favorite Esee yet, other than my Junglist 2, because it allows me to venture into my backyard and beat on wood, which reconnects me to nature or some shit. If you like this sort of review and you want this channel to continue to grow, watch all of my videos, even the dumb ones, which is a clever turn of phrase because they're all dumb. Baton that like button, leave a comment on about trying Beckers or tops for a change, and I'll reply, I will as soon as you buy me one. Also thanks to Superstar Bach for watching 50 of my videos last week. Unless he's lying, he's the real MVP. This is a pretty long username. I don't know the rest because I don't read the whole thing. The answer is no. And one final point for all the viewers. The reason I ask these things at the end, like the likes and the comments, is not because I'm begging for my self-esteem. I mean, it's kind of that. But videos with more comments, more thumbs up, more views, that are shared more places, get ranked higher. So if you'd like this channel to grow, we all have to do our part. It's like communism. I have to make shitty videos. You have to tag engagement to those videos to improve search results and give me more views overall, and allow me to become more powerful than all the other YouTubers and afford better gear and become a professional YouTube video artist full-time, who eventually exploits tragedy and leads to a very public but completely avoidable downfall. It was just a prank, bro. Because people who make YouTube videos are generally big pieces of doo-doo and are the worst among us. Thanks for watching.